So to make this, you're gonna need this bow. You're gonna need book pages, a couple of clamps, some Mod Podge, and some ribbon. Now, I like this wide ribbon, but you certainly don't have to use burlap. You can use any, if you've got a ribbon that you're not really in love with, go ahead and use that instead because it's going to get covered, okay? So let's start with the paper. We'll start with making the bow ends. I'm going to Mod Podge everything first, and then after I get it Mod Podged, we'll put the bow together. Okay. So I'm going to start by crumpling the two bow ends. Put them together like, just kind of fold them over. This one. Now this is going to be the wrap for the middle of the bow. So what I want to do is I want to make it more narrow. So I'm going to take it like this. And again, when I finish it, I'm going to cut off the end, but now I've got plenty of length for it. So that's going to be the middle part of the bow. Let's wrap around. I'll clean off the Mod Podge, clean off my hands a little bit. So I've left everything to dry for about an hour. Cleaned up my mess with the Mod Podge. Then I went and I grabbed some wire. You can use, it's just to put the bows together. If you don't want to use wire, zip tie will work. And grab my hot glue gun, okay? So let's start with a couple of explanations. The end of mine, I've left the end of my ribbon tails to attach to a picture I'm making. So I'm not going to cut mine. Okay, so that's, this whole piece actually is optional depending on what you want to use it for. Okay, now to make the actual bow itself, I've let these two pieces dry. Okay, and what I want to do now is I want to put all the pieces together. Here's my two tails. And I'm just going to fold that up Give it a little bit of a crease, get a couple of little creases in here. And then I'll hold that all together. I'm going to hold this together using glue Okay. Do the same thing with the other side. I'm just fiddling getting the creases the way I want them to look. There we go. And now I will take and I'll glue that and hold that together. So now you have to kind of decide the angle you want your bottom part of your bow to be. So I'm going to leave mine about like a bit of a V right here. Put this one on. I like the shabbier side a little more, so I'm going to put that side down. Take it up a little bit, put that in here. This is when I'm going to take out my wire. Now you could use a zip tie. I just happen to have a big spool of this, so I'm going to use it instead. I'm just going to wire it together starting at the front and twist it around a few times trying to get it as tight as I can and holding all those pieces together just for extra structure. Okay, so now we got that done. I'm going to take the piece that we had made for the center. And I know it's going to be much too long, but so I'm going to cut this end off and I'll cut this end off. There we go. And I'm going to glue it at the back. Yeah. Now, depending where you use it is how you're going to cut your tail. But all you're going to do to cut them is we're going to put them about here. It's folded in half. Cut it like that up. I made a mistake. Okay, fold it in half. Cut it from the bottom up. Like that. This one here, fold it in half. Cut it from the bottom up. There's your ribbon or your bow. Okay, mine's going to get attached to these two long ends here. Now for the length of my ribbon's going to be used to hang a witch picture that I did in book pages, but you can make it any size you want. I decided to use 3 lengths. I want it to be the length of 3 pieces of my book page here, give or take a little bit. So here is my first piece, and I'm going to start at the top because I want it to be lined up so that you can see the top of the book pages. So now I'm just going to take and put lots of Mod Podge on this. Especially on the 2 ends, here and here. And I'm going to put this underneath. So I want to make sure that my title is at the top of each one of these. So line it up. And check if it looks the way I want it to. It does not. I want to upload it just over. I want to put it just over the edge of the one above it. I'll put some more glue on here. Now on the back, I'm going to go and I'll just put some all along the back here to make sure that all the edges stay down. Now I'm not going to do it on the front. I'm just going to do it along the back here. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to cut the ribbon at the top. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to repeat the same process on a second set, making sure that that's how it looks.